Hi everyone, this is Michelle here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 of my July plan with me, so if you missed part 1, go ahead and check that out now, but otherwise, let's get started. I'm going to be starting with my weekly spreads for the month, and July has 5 weeks, so I'm going to show you 5 different ideas for these weekly layouts. For this first one, I'm starting off with a sunflower illustration. This is, of course, to go with my sunflower July theme. And if you need any reminders on how to draw these sunflowers, go back to my previous video and check that out for a more detailed explanation. But since I already went through that, I'm just going to go through it quickly here and just let you see the process. So I have one sunflower on the left page and one on the right page, and I've kind of already mapped out where my boxes are going to go, but I like to draw the sunflowers first so that the box lines don't get in the way of the flowers and I can just draw my boxes around afterwards. After I drew the sunflowers, I scattered around some different sunflower seeds around as well, and then I'm going to fill in my boxes. I'm doing these vertical boxes, and since I can't really fit 7 across, I'm splitting 2 boxes up on the right side and making them slightly smaller. And then I also have one box on the right page, and this is going to be for any extra things you need for the week, like notes or a to-do list, things like that. And I also colored in a black bar at the top of each of these boxes just to add a little contrast for the header I'm going to add there for the date. And then for the box on the bottom right, I completely filled that in and created this blackout box just to set it apart more from the boxes that are going to be the days of the week. Next, I'm going to be filling in the space on the left with a little collage, just as I have done for my previous pages. So I have that same scrap of gridded paper and then more pages from that book that I'm just ripping continual pages out of. And I also have a little scrap of that book page in the top right corner as well, just to tie that theme. I like to tie things in on opposite corners and opposite pages just so that the spread comes together very cohesively. I just stuck those down with double-sided tape, and then I'm going to move on to coloring in those illustrations. I'm just coloring these sunflowers in shades of yellow and orange, and then a couple of shades of green for the stems and leaves. I really like how the color brings these flowers to life, because when I first started bullet journaling, I would kind of just stick to black and white illustrations, which still look really nice, but I think the color just brings them to life, and now I feel like I can't go back to not coloring things anymore because it just adds so much vibrant color and life to the page. I also have this sheet of sort of like washi tape type stickers, and I'm just sticking a couple of those down just to add more color and layering to this page. Then I'm going to move on to filling in the date headers. So I have these stickers that I've used for headers in my previous pages, and it had some numbers in the back, so I thought those would be perfect for the dates, especially for this first week because most of the dates are just 1 digit, so I thought that would be perfect because I don't have enough to do double-digit dates for the rest of the weeks. And then I also used my white gel pen just to write in the headers for the days of the week. Moving on to my second layout, I'm starting off with a really big illustration in the bottom left corner. This is going to be the main illustration for the spread. There isn't really going to be anything on the right side, so I wanted to make it really nice and large and a really good focal point. And this would also give me more space to play with colors a little more, because when the illustrations are a little small, I can't do much blending, but this will just give you a chance to play around a little bit and get more detailed with the shading. So I'm creating a little grouping of sunflower heads here, not doing any stalks or anything, just the flower heads, but I also tucked in some leaves so that I can get some of that green color in there as well. And I really like how these flowers are different from previous ones because since they're bigger, I can make the petals more elaborate and lush and It kind of just gives a different feel to them. And once I have those flowers drawn, I just drew in my boxes for the days of the week, and then the space on the left will be for decorations and miscellaneous boxes. On the right side, I'm breaking it up into these different triangle shapes because I wanted to separate it a little bit from the grid look on the right side. I want the left side to be a little different, and I also cut out a piece of my book page to fill in the top triangle. Now I'm going to work on the headers for my boxes for the dates. I decided to go with this nice serif typeface that I don't usually go for. It takes a little more time, but I'm only doing one letter per box instead of a full title, so it makes it go a little quicker. I just really like this style of lettering. I think it works with the style and layout that I chose really nicely. So I'm just attaching that book page to the corner, and then I'm going to be coloring in the flowers on the bottom. Like I said, since the petals are a little bigger, I get to play with colors a little more, so I'm adding more colors into, especially to this large flower. So I started with a really bright red, and then I can layer it with my orange color, then a darker yellow, a lighter yellow, and I even went in with a light pink color because this adds some nice shading to the yellow without making it completely red. And then for the smaller flower, I'm sticking to the more normal shades of yellow, just so that the one on the right can really be the focal point of the cluster. Just filling in the leaves and the centers of the flowers, and then I'm going to be coloring in the background with this really nice purple lavender shade that I think works really nice with yellow because I believe they're complementary colors, so they work really well together. I found these really pretty floral stickers in my stash, so I just decided to stick those into the corners of my triangles. I just thought they looked really nice there, and they kind of looked like my cluster of sunflowers, so they would just add a little bit more to the theme. For my third layout, I basically broke up each page into quarters, and each of these quarters is going to have a box. So at the top of each of these boxes, I'm drawing a little sunflower, just one for each of these, and I'm going to be writing my dates inside the center of these flowers. So first off, I'm just starting off with the illustrations really quickly, running through that. And then you can see how I'm drawing the boxes around those flowers, just like this. And then in the bottom right, since I have that space, I'm splitting it up into two boxes. You can just leave it as one if you only need one box for your to-do list, but I like to have two. And then I can go in and color these sunflowers, just sticking to two different color schemes to keep it simple. I also mixed up where the leaves were in each of these flowers just to make them a little different as well. And then after I've colored in the yellows and greens, I'm going to color in the centers of these flowers completely with black instead of going in with that little detailing that I usually do, because I'm going to be using my white gel pen on top of this once it's dry to write my dates. I'm going to give that black a second to dry, and while it does that, I'm going in and creating a colored bar at the top of each of these boxes just to create some more contrast and color, and again bring in this purple color because I think it just looks really nice with the yellow. And then to make the other boxes a little different, I'm creating that bar but with a yellow-orange marker instead. Alright, for the next layout, since the last one was pretty grid-like, I wanted to do something more organic for this spread. So I'm starting off with some brush lettering at the top using my Tombow marker. I started off with a kind of nice bright blue and then went in with a darker teal blue to create this two-toned shadow effect. And then I'm using my smaller brush tip marker to create the days of the week. You can see that there's not really any order to where I'm putting the dates. I did plan out where they would go a little bit, but again, nothing's too exact, so you can kind of mix this up as you want to. I just wanted to make sure that I had space to fill it in with decorations and my boxes later on, but I did want to make it look more organic and free-flowing across the page. So in that big empty space on the right page, I'm making this grouping of sunflowers. Since it's a taller space, I did add the stems to these ones. and I did one facing forward and one facing to the side just to make it look more realistic and give it more variation. A lot of the sunflowers I had drawn in previous pages were just straight on, so I wanted to do something a little different. And then I have the other spaces around the spread to add in my little boxes for my to-do lists and notes. And then I'm going to go ahead and color in these flowers. To add a little more to the page, I'm bringing out little strips of washi and adding those scattered around the page. I also have this little sticker page of different sayings that I wanted to bring out just to add another different element in there. And I thought it worked really well with the organic layout. And I also added a yellow drop shadow to my boxes just because I thought it needed a little more contrasting color to bring in that yellow. Next, I'm using my purple marker to fill in some space behind my illustration, just to ground it a little bit and make it look not so much like it's floating in this white space. You'll notice that I didn't create like a box or anything around it though. It's very organic and free-flowing, and I didn't even shade in the entire space behind. But I really love this effect that gives it a place to be in the page but doesn't completely take over that entire space. Just finishing off here by adding my dates with my yellow marker behind my brush lettered dates, and then we're on to the last layout. So I wanted to make this one quick and easy just to give you another option that didn't involve so much illustration, which is what I usually like to do in these weekly layout videos. So this one, again, I split it up into 4 sections per side, but this time I'm doing nice long horizontal boxes. These are going to be really simple. I'm just outlining them with different colored markers. Since it's a pretty simple layout, I wanted to bring in lots of color and make it really bright and fun. So I brought out a couple of the colors I've been using in all of my previous spreads to carry out that same color scheme. And I just blocked out a small vertical section in each of these boxes. And I just varied which side of the box I would color this little shading in, just to mix things up a little bit. And then I split up the last space into 2 boxes with my black marker so it can stand out from the other colorful boxes, and just really quickly lettered in my dates with my brush pen. And that's pretty much it for that page. Super quick and simple. And this is a great weekly spread option if you're in a little bit of a rush. Now for some bonus pages. I wanted to include a couple of these just because I've personally been spending a little more time journaling, and I haven't been doing that the last few months, and I feel like I just needed to reset a little bit and keep track of things that I'm thankful for every day. So because of that, I'm including this gratitude log first. So this is very simple. I just added a brush script gratitude header on the top, and I really like adding a little leaf motif with this, just because I think it looks really nice and peaceful and really elegant. And then all down the left side, I just numbered in the days of the week. So there's 31 for July. I also like to include a little abbreviation for the days of the week for these. M for Monday and T for Tuesday and so on. Just because if it's just a list of dates, I usually will forget what day of the week each date is, and it's just really confusing. So I find it easy just to add a little notation of what day of the week it is along with the actual number. Then on the other side of the page, I'm making a page of trackers. So I have a mini calendar for each of these little things, and then for the days that I do them, I can just fill it in with a little circle that's in the same color as the header. For this one, like I said, I'm just trying to slow down and focus on self-care a little bit this month. So I made sure that in my tracker page, I'm keeping track of very meditative-like things, like meditating obviously, and then just having quiet time, my art time, and yoga, just things like that. Whenever I do trackers, I really like to make sure I have a good balance of things that are very active, like working out and going to the gym, but also things that require you to slow down and just have some reflection time. So I just kept this in mind when I was picking out my different topics for my habit tracker. And I left one blank because I wasn't sure what else to include. So if you have any ideas, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you like to keep track of in your habit trackers. And I just finished this page off with some washi tape and collaging. Again, brought in some stickers and little things like that. Just go through your stash and find things to decorate the page and make it look really nice. So that wraps up this page and this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you got some inspiration out of this. And I also hope that you were reminded to just take some time for yourself when you need it and to do some time reflecting, because I think that's very important. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want more content like this, and I'll see you again next time.